Hi guys, it's Hannah. Welcome back to another True Crime Tuesday. This video is going to be a missing case, and information about it is coming out as I'm making this video, and it's looking as if it actually might be a murder as well, which is very tragic, and I was hoping that it would end better than this. And it's only been, I believe, the time span of about 3 or 4 days since this little girl that we're going to be talking about went missing. However, there's already been a lot of hints by news stations that a body has been found. So before I get started with the actual kidnapping and the crime, we're going to just talk about the little girl first. So the little girl that we're talking about today is Nalani Johnson, and she is so precious. She is adorable. She has brown eyes and short curly black hair, and she actually has her second birthday on September 15th. She had a nickname. It was M-O-O-H, so I think Moa, I'm not sure, but that was her nickname, and she was just really, really adorable. And she went missing August 31st, which is really, really sad. I can't find any information about Nalani's mother. I can find information about her father, whose name is Paul Johnson, and he was with her the night that she actually went missing, but I'm really unable to find any information about Nalani's mother.
While researching, I found that on April 15th, Nalani's mother, whose name was Glady Duarte, had filed a protection from abuse charge. And this was because he had actually threatened her and Nalani's life in the past with a gun and multiple other weapons.
On August 31st, when Nalani went missing, she was wearing a black shirt, black sandals, and a floral printed skirt. Nalani was with her father, Paul Johnson, and the two actually took a ride share together. And this is when things get really confusing. Now, they got into a ride share with the driver, Sharina Nancy, who was 25 years old. She was an Indian American woman. She had worked for Lyft and Uber in the past, and an incident like what was about to happen had never happened with her before, or she wouldn't have been a driver for this company. And I truly believe that there are 3 stories in this case: Sharina's story, Paul's story, and the truth, because Paul's story and Sharina's story, they are very contradicting of each other. Now, according to Paul Johnson, after they had gotten to the end of their rideshare drive, he got out of the car and went headed to the other side of the car to get Nalani because she was in a car seat. And as he was going around to the other side of the car, Sharina just drove off. And obviously this is like, this would be extremely scary. Like, someone's trying, you would, I think, automatically think someone's trying to kidnap your child. And his response is very odd if he's telling the truth. He said that he tried to call her cell phone a couple times, and after that didn't work, called the police. And honestly, I can't say what I would do in that situation because I don't have kids. And even if I did, you never know how you're gonna act, I guess, in a situation of distress. But it seems a little odd that he waited as long as he did to call the police, because I just see myself automatically calling the police. I don't think a professional rideshare driver would just forget that you had a child in the back. So if I were Paul Johnson, I would be thoroughly freaked out by this point. But he just takes a little longer than it would seem to be normal to call the police. So that's Paul's story. Let's move on to Sharina's story. Sharina Nancy told the police that Paul had gotten into her rideshare and had said that she needed to take Nalani and take her about 20 minutes into town and drop her off with 2 women. And these women would flag her down. She would be able to know who they were, and she would be basically selling Nalani to these women for $10,000. And she was taking out the transaction. Now, this is a really odd story, just to have a passenger and agree to, take out a transaction of selling a child for $10,000. Just yeah, sure, I can do that. That's a little weird, right? Paul had alerted police around 5 p.m. So shortly after, an Amber Alert was issued.
We begin at 10 with breaking news. The search is on for a missing 2-year-old girl in Penn Hills. We know that police are questioning a woman at the police station. Now, good evening. I'm Megan Schiller. Paul Martino has the night off. State police issuing the Amber Alert just a short time ago, saying the little girl was last seen at an intersection in Penn Hills.
Later on that evening, Sharina is finally found by police at around 7:30. And between 5 and 7:30, she's seen a few times. She's captured on a surveillance camera around 5:30. And then her husband is an alibi. He was talking on the phone with her between 5:30 and 7:30. So she claims that between 5:30 and 7:30, she drove around, smoked cigarettes, talked on the phone to her husband, and drove to Blairsville and to Monroeville. And specifically, she drove right past a resort called the Chestnut Ridge Resort. And after she's taken into the station, I'm assuming she, shares her story about just taking a child and being okay with selling it for a man. Cool. Now, Paul Johnson's mother gets involved, and I'm not quite sure how to pronounce her name. I don't really want to butcher it. I believe it's Taji Walsh. She begins an organized search in Delmont, which is around an area that Nalani was suspected to be if she was missing. She started to hang up flyers, and around this time, news started to come out that Sharina and Paul had a love affair. And this is what, kind of ties them together and makes more sense of the situation, because why would a random rideshare driver sell your kid? Obviously, you would have to have some relation to them. That would make sense, right? Paul's mother insists that Paul Johnson does not have anything to do with Sharina, but I think the evidence is pretty much there and everyone already knows it, so. Another one of the two's friends came forward and actually said that they were at the beginning of a romantic relationship. And during all this time, Lyft thankfully banned Sharina from being a driver because they didn't want this lady to be a driver for their company anymore. Also during this time, police let the public know that they are looking for a car seat. This is linked to Nalani, and this is obviously Nalani's car seat, because when the car was found, Sharina's car, they didn't find Nalani or her car seat. So when the transfer was made, they obviously put her into another car with that car seat.
And we have more breaking news on the search for the missing little girl, Nalani Johnson. Police say Sharina Nancy was captured on video at the Sheet Store on Penn Highway in Murraysville. They say she was there around 5:30 on Saturday evening. Now, police want to hear from anyone who might have seen her. She was in a black Toyota Yaris. Also, police are urging everyone to keep an eye out for Nalani's missing car seat. It looks like this car seat. We will continue to follow this story. We have team coverage on this. We're looking at every angle, and we'll have the latest for you coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. But there is the very latest on that.
Very shortly after Nalani went missing, they began to do searches.
The search for an abducted 2-year-old girl covered land and water this evening. Firefighters slowly searched along Route 22 in Westmoreland County for clues. Others in boats looked along the banks of the Loyal Hannah Creek. They are looking for anything that might lead them to Nalani Johnson.
And just today, September 3rd, 2019, K-9 units, drones, and UTVs were sent out to an Indiana County park. And it's called Pine Ridge Park. This park is actually located 1 mile from Chestnut Ridge Resort, where Sharina was seen on videotape. Just a little bit ago, there was a large police presence at the park, and they began to put up yellow police tape. And several reports have confirmed that the coroner has been called to the scene.
Breaking news, Nalani Johnson, the missing toddler from Penn Hills, has been found dead. KDKA confirmed in the last hour that her body was found at a park in Indiana County. That little girl went missing 4 days ago, and the search led authorities to Blairsville, where investigators found her body.
I just have so many questions of why someone would do this. What she was getting sold into, why her father would sell her into something as disgusting as what I'm assuming is like human trafficking, and how a very short love affair could turn into something so sick, and how they could plan something so evil together. So it's just really, really messed up. what has happened to this little girl. And it just broke my heart when I was researching this case. Literally, as I was researching it, it sounds like it came out that her body was most likely found. So I might do another update on this, but I'm going to link some other sources down below. And I'm sure by the time I upload this, a lot more information will have come out. I'm very hopeful that a lot more will come out and we'll be able to at least get the facts and some justice for Nalani, because she wasn't even 2 years old. So it would be beneficial to follow up on this case, and I know that I definitely will. So I hope this gave some knowledge to you guys and kind of gave you a timeline and framework of the case. I know researching it definitely did, and I can only hope for the best for the future of it. So have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys next Tuesday. Bye, guys.